Welcome back to the Dex and Randi Show, the number one show for going through the ups and downs of life. Stay tuned. You're coming up next. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Dex and Randi Show, the number one show for going through the ups and downs of life, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And we are so excited to be back here with y'all for another episode of our podcast. But before we jump into so many things we got to talk to y'all about, I got to introduce my beautiful co-host, you know what I mean? She rocking the Basden Accounting LLC merchandise today with the matching red earrings, you know what I mean? And the red lipstick or lipstick in the red family.
Lip gloss.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. It looked like lipstick though, but what's up, man?
Hi, I am Randi, the co-host of the Dex and Randi Show.
Dex and Randi Show, man. Listen, for everybody out there that's going through life, trying to make something happen, you know what I mean? You're going to go through good and bad times, and this is the number one community where we talk about that. We give y'all a lot of advice. We want to hear from y'all, but we got to thank our sponsors as always for making this podcast possible. Every episode of the Dex and Randi Show is sponsored by Basden Accounting LLC. Make sure you hit them up today. You need to get your accounting done for your business. Make sure you know where your money is going, where it should be going, where it shouldn't be going. Financial advisory, making sure that you're thinking about the future and not just focusing on the past. All right, now you good, baby. You know what I'm saying? Also taxes, you know what I mean? It's that time of the year. It's tax time. That money you're hoping will come back. If you're just thinking about it now, it's too late. It might already be gone. It might not be coming back. Or you might owe money. Why not think about taxes all year round? You got to plan for it. You got to make the right decisions for your business as well as yourself. Basden Accounting LLC can help you with that. Reach out to them today. You can find them on Instagram at Basden Accounting. You can find them on their website, www.basdenaccountingllc.com. No, basdenaccounting.com. No, LLC. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to them today for all of your business and personal financial needs. You will be in good hands. And once again, they are the sponsor of the Dex and Randi Show. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what's up, babe? It's been forever.
It's been
you
a
know
while.
what I mean? It's been a while. You know what I mean? But we're back. Excited to be back. And it's been a lot going on. A lot of changes. Lots of changes. You know what I'm saying? And listen, yo, I think we ain't poured it for a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? But just like anything in life, man, when you put something down for a little bit, or even if you just go through a little period of time, you could have a lot of changes. Life be throwing you all types of curveballs and you don't be expecting it. Some of these changes be positive. Sometimes they be challenging. You know what I'm saying? But changes, that's probably the theme of today's podcast. You know what I'm saying? Lots of changes, and how do we deal with those changes, whether they're good or bad? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So first change, let me jump right into this. Listen, yo, this has been impacting a lot of people in federal, you know what I mean, government or have federal jobs, you know what I mean? But outside of Basden Accounting, outside of Dex and Randi Show, I do have a job. I do have a 9-to-5, you know what I mean? So I know the experience of being both a worker and an entrepreneur. There's good and bad in both. And out of nowhere, I had to go back to work. So since 2020, like around March 2020, I've been working remote. I've been a remote worker. Everything's been working at home or a common office space that me and Randy got several months ago. You know what I'm saying? And then things changed. And all of a sudden, I had to go back to the office. So you think about it, it's been like 4 years where I ain't had to do that commute. I ain't had to work those kind of hours where I have to get up early to make it there. You know what I mean? I also haven't been in an environment where it's a whole lot of people in person. Lots of changes. If you think about the COVID time, we went from being around a lot of people all the time to being in smaller spaces, not around a lot of people. You know what I mean? You don't realize that it changes you. It changes the kind of person you are, changes the way you work, changes the way you communicate with people. So out of nowhere, yo, I pretty much found out on a Thursday that I had to go back in the office on Monday full time. You know what I mean? It's been an adjustment. It's been a contributing factor why we haven't been able to do the podcast either. You know what I'm saying? But that change has been challenging. It's been eye-opening. Spending about 3 hours of my day, 2.5 to 3 hours of my day commuting. That does a lot to you mentally. You know what I'm saying? And it's not all bad, but just kind of thinking about, I've been able to pour into different things in them 2.5 hours every day.
Right.
I've really been able to pour into myself, go to the gym, pour into my kids, help them get out the door, lunches, you know what I'm saying? See them go, say goodbye to them, spend a little time with them, you know what I mean? All these little intangible things that kind of have somewhat gone away because I got to be on the road, 6:30 in the morning, you know what I'm saying? So that's been a challenge, but what's it been like for you, me having to go back to the office, and how you feel about all that?
It's been a little chaotic
Yeah.
because in the mornings I'm used to having help, and it's just been like I wasn't prepared for it. I could see if we had some time to prepare, but like oftentimes in the morning, like you kind of took over lunch duty.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, oh my gosh, we don't have no cheese. Call your mom, ask her to bring some cheese over here. It's been chaotic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stabilize it a little bit, but it's been an adjustment. It's been hard, especially in the evenings. You're not home or you're leaving from work and going to soccer practice. So I've missed you. I feel like I haven't seen you.
I know. It's crazy.
So it's just like we're walking past each other.
I know. In passing.
And in passing. I see you in passing, but I ain't really seen you like that.
I know.
So
I feel you on that. You know what I mean? And for anybody who hasn't been through this experience, you might not know what that transition is like, but a lot of times you be with somebody, but you don't get to spend that quality time with them, whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, whether it's your children, whatever the case, because you be working or you be on your way to work or you be on your way from work. And even when you do get around them, you're pretty much drained. You know what I'm saying? Like I still have the same job, but it takes more for me to get to that job, for me to do that job. There's different experiences. Like you're probably not the same person when you had a day of work and you gotten up and going to the gym and going for a walk, listening to music, working, listening to a podcast and going to practice and coming home. That's not the same as the person that went and hopped on the metro all morning or went and had to sit in traffic all morning or was getting cut off in traffic on their way in. You know what I mean? Or was getting rerouted from the navigation because it's an accident. Like all that impacts your spirit and like your excitement and just energy wise. So when you come home, you just want to sit on. You know what I'm saying? You might just want to relax. You want to break. But then you got the family and everybody that wants you to pour more into them. And what do you do when you got to pour into something, but you don't got nothing left in your battery? Like doesn't mean the other things don't need to be charged, but working from home and doing these kind of things of relaxing a little bit, it's like putting a little extra charge in my battery. But right now, I get up and the battery is whatever percentage is at, and it's just draining. The whole day is just draining, pulling on the battery. So it's been a challenge, you know what I mean? It's got me thinking about a lot of things, but I didn't realize how much I have changed the last 4 years. For the positive.
Exactly.
For the positive.
My concern has been your stress level. I know in the past we've talked about health concerns on here, blood pressure, stress. I'm really concerned because I can see it going in that direction. So for our listeners, I have asked Dexter to leave his job. I'm more concerned about his health and his stress levels more than anything. And we are in a position where he could leave his job. And if we made some changes, we would be fine for a while.
It'd be some big changes, though.
It would be some sacrificial changes, but we have money saved. We have options, different living situations that we could do.
We could explore.
We could explore. Yes, that's a better word.
Yeah.
But I think that now is the time. I think it's the time. I know it's the time because there's no other time. And the way I see it, when you're making that jump, right? If you're leaving corporate America, I've been here, done that, and thank God I've had the support of Dexter, my husband, and his full-time job has been so important to that. But we were able to make a change from going from two incomes from going from two incomes to one income. And with all that time freed up, I have been able to accelerate the growth of Basden Accounting or make it more profitable. Well, I'll say we, but because I was primarily focused on the business and not having to split my time up, we were able to do that. So Basden Accounting has some kind of sustainability for income. It's still not like as far as my salary, what I pay myself. it's not in comparison to what you bring to the table, but with savings, with changes, you could leave your job and pour everything into Basden accounting and also into some of your other business ventures. And that would take a lot of stress off of you. Cause I want you. Like I know money is important and stuff, but I don't need none of this. Like I need you healthy and here. So I really want you to consider that. And guys, I've ran the numbers. Maybe we can go over that next episode, but I've ran the numbers and I've found a way where we can live off of half of what we live off of now. And just pour that time and energy and brain power into entrepreneurial situations.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That was beautiful. You know what I mean? You need me healthy in here.
Healthy
That sticks out to me. You know what I mean? I think it's crazy because sometimes you be talking about something for a while, like the same things you was talking about pouring into other things and having availability to grow the entrepreneurial side of everything we do. I've always been I've been a benefit for you to be able to grow it, but I'm also a limitation for how much it could grow holistically because I still work. You know what I'm saying? And I just think we've been talking about that for a long time before this even change ever happened. And now, one thing is I went back to Bermuda, I don't know, maybe a month ago or almost a month ago, and started a new business venture there. And as soon as I got back, that's when this happened. So I say that because I even added more potential on my plate. Something else that's a potential to be more. I added that to my plate. And now this thing happened. You know what I'm saying? So I think the hard part is the changes that we would have to make. And then also personally, professionally, I put a lot into my career. And I want to talk about that side too. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it could just be negative. Like, oh, well, I'll go do this. Trust me, yo, there's a benefit to everything. There's a benefit to having a job. There's a benefit to being an entrepreneur. Don't let anybody in life tell you that it's always all good on one side or the other. It's not. When you go be an entrepreneur, everything that you don't have to think about as a worker, where you just show up and everything is set up for you to be successful and make money, now you got to go create that for yourself. And people underestimate just how hard that is. You know what I mean? How much dedication and planning and resourcefulness you need. You know what I mean? Strategy, execution. Like we've been on this podcast before and talked about the month of January here and what it's like when you lose a couple clients. When you work for somebody, you don't have to deal with that so much. You know what I'm saying? But you also sometimes forget that the same way that you could lose a client in your business and have to rebound, it's the same way the person you work for could lose a contract and then let you go. So it be feeling like it's secure, but it ain't. Nothing is secure in life.
Right.
Not like you be thinking.
Exactly.
Not like you be thinking. You know what I mean? So that's kind of caught my eye too. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? And it's just a lot for me to think about. I am gonna make a decision. You know what I'm saying? There's positives and negatives on both sides. I'm a man, so it's a lot of aspects to it. I always want to make sure I could take care of my wife, my family, and myself. That's my responsibility. Stress or no stress, that's my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And I want to make sure that I can do that. And it's also scary too. Like, it's scary, like, to be honest.
Oh, I know.
To even think about walking away from success.
Yeah.
I think people got to realize that you're not just walking away because of stress or whatever. Like, the other side of it is I'm walking away from success that I've created for myself. Doesn't mean I'm not walking to something new or something that's also going to be successful, but don't always think there's decisions are easy because you're walking away from failure to success. Sometimes you're walking away from success to the potential for more success. So that's a harder decision. You're failing at something. All right, let me let that go and go be successful. But that's not the case. You see what I'm saying? It's like I am successful. And we had damn conversations too. Like when I went to school and what I've sought out to do with my career, I've become a success at it. I've made it. A lot of people can't say that. I've actually made it. I'm a leader. You know what I mean? I have a team. I make really good money. Like, I'm a success. I am actually what a lot of people would aspire to be. But what does that really mean? What do I aspire to be? I think those are the kind of thoughts I've been having more and more. Even before this, is like, what am I really aspiring to be? Because my heart is like changing.
Right.
And it's been changing, or I wouldn't have been and made the decision I made a month ago. My heart is kind of going into me and what I've created versus what I've always been doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard, but what broke the back is probably this change recently and made it like, because you be thinking something, it's like all of a sudden it's like, all right, the pressure's on. All right, what we doing? And I think that's where we are. You know what I'm saying?
Things have changed overnight, but I believe in you. This is a good time. And I would say, worst case scenario, a year from now, we just be in the same situation. You just get another job and you're so amazing at your current job. I know they would take you back.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, either way,
I don't know about that. You know
that's
what I
kind of
mean?
how I see it. Like, we have savings, we have options, and I just encourage you and I support you to at least try. At least try, and it's okay if you fail. It's all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
I got your back.
You really think I could do it?
Yeah, I know you can. I can see what you've done part-time. You're not even part-time. You like 1/4 time.
I like quarter time.
Yeah, quarter time.
I was quarter time before going back to the office. I'm like almost no time
I
now.
know. Yeah.
It's tough.
It's like 1/20.
Yeah. Because of how early I have to move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You
And
probably have like 2 hours a week, if that.
Exactly. And I can't combine the business with the job, but not at all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, hey, pray for us, you know what I mean? But if y'all out there listening, like, look, there's plenty of people out there that's made this type of decision or had to consider it. And the more successful you are, the higher you are in your positions and stuff like that, it kind of makes it a harder decision to make. It really does. You know what I'm saying? If you're 2 years, 3 years into your career, you know what I mean? You an analyst or something, nothing wrong with that. But you could leave that and say, I'm going to go start a business. That's a little easier. You could become a director and all that in a big company and stuff like that. It ain't so easy to leave that. It's not, because of everything that's underneath it is also the money, it's the successes. That's a different chain. You know what I'm saying? That's a different chain, like for real. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it. So this is the conversations we're having.
Yeah. And I just want to say that God is bigger than all of your concerns. And if you're feeling that pressing on your heart, I know I'm feeling it, then don't ignore it, because there's something, like there's a purpose for your life. And you're feeling it like there's a tugging, like there's something going on. So I just encourage you to reach out to the Lord and just, talk about your concerns with him, because he got us.
Exactly.
He got
You're
us.
right. You're right. And we talk about it on the podcast, which is that thing of being successful. It has to be something where it's coming from the right place. You know what I'm saying? So this journey that we're on, God has a path for us. And I'm glad you said that, because that's one thing I ain't did. To ask him to like guide me through this time in my life, I ain't even said nothing, because I'm got it in my own head and I'm trying to figure it out on my own. And I'm not really listening to the person that's actually leading me behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I agree with that, because I need to probably have faith in whatever I hear and move in that direction, because that's the ultimate person that's deciding the success and path that I'm supposed to have for my life. We pick paths for our lives all the time, but it could be a path that's off branch from the one that you're supposed to be taking. And who's the one that really knows the one that you're supposed to be taking? Not the one that's easy, not the one that you think is right, not the one, none of that. But like real success comes from the Lord, and what said that? Because he knows us specifically, right? So he knows where I'm at and where I'm supposed to be going for whatever reasons. And what said it before in the podcast, everything we just talked about just now, it could be probably missing the real reason I'm supposed to do it.
Exactly.
Because then he knows everything. You know what I'm saying? So I think we should pray about it together, and I'm going to pray about it on my end. What is going on with me? Help me figure that out. Because I'm not figuring it out on my end. I'm bumping my head, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's hard. And it's a lot to think about and risk and everything involved in it. So I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? Urgently. urgently. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? But
Yeah.
nah, he bigger than all these things. Bigger than
Mhm.
back pain, bigger than, commuting, bigger than money. You know what I'm saying? Bigger than clients being lost, clients being got, opportunities going, change. He bigger than all that.
Yeah.
He took care of me through my whole life, through bigger changes, through bigger, harder times. You know what I mean? I had a time where I wouldn't even have a job. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I had a big career and threw it all away. You know what I'm saying? These were many years ago, though. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I wasn't where I am now, but I had to start all over. I've started all over before,
Right.
if you think about it, you know? And
Yeah.
when we think about the perception, I was actually talking to somebody I work with, ironically, and I pivot just a little bit. They ended up walking away calling me Pastor Dex and they thanked me for giving them the word. But I was actually, it's funny because I guess I was talking to myself, but I was talking to him about how the perception of other people is always a moving target and how we have to find peace and love in ourselves no matter what. Because what ends up happening is, let's say, for example, you work at a company or whatever the case may be. You can give them everything you got, become the highest person in the company, you know what I'm saying? Make the most money or whatever the case may be. And if something ever happened to you, your kids, your family, your friends, people that love you, they're going to be the ones that's talking about you for years and years, the ones that's remembering you, the ones that's pulling up videos of you, the ones that's coming to your funeral and stuff, telling all types of stories about you, the ones that's telling their kids about how great you were. You know what I'm saying? The ones that's keeping your memory alive and all that type of stuff. They're going to have a lot to say about you. The other side is they're going to write a 1-2 paragraph about you. Thank you for your service and offering to send employees to the assistance program if you're having a hard time and life's gonna move on. Rightfully so. But like I was telling her, I was like, the things that are so important in life, that's funny. Actually, I think I was talking to myself, even though I was talking to her. I told her, like, the things that are really, really important in life that love you for who you are, you spend a little bit of time with them. And you make the other thing more important because you spend all your time with it. You see what I'm saying? You spend all your time in your career. So that'd be the one you think about what people think of you. You know what I mean? Perception, stuff like that. But that's not the most important thing in life. There's going to be the ones that's going to quickly write a little 2-paragraph joint about you. You know what I mean? All the impacts you had. And then that's going to go in history. And everybody else that you spent a little bit of time with are going to be the ones that are forever missing you. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So anyway, we was talking about that. And she was like, thank you for that, Pastor. Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, anyway, so a word to myself, I need to think about me.
The same thing.
The same thing. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yo, listen, keep us in thought. You know what I mean? Keep me in thought is one of them times. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a success in a lot of ways. A lot of ways. Multiple businesses, podcasts with you. You know what I'm saying? I coach. Like, there's a lot in my life. A lot. And there's a lot of potential out there. And I could just be the missing piece. You know what I'm saying? For my own peace. I actually told this girl, I was like, my peace is precious. I don't even know why I said that. But is it? My peace should be precious. But I told her, I was like, my peace is precious. Because she was like, why are you not too stressed about everything? Because I'm actually more stressed, not because of the change of having to go back to work. That's not why I'm stressed. I'm stressed because of all the things that I'm not doing.
Right. The impact.
Yeah. I can do what I've always been doing. I'm really good at what I do.
Well, there's been a limitation
It's
placed
been a
on your time.
limitation put on my time. And I'm like, ooh, what I'm great at is potentially,
Right.
limiting what the other things that I see. So it's almost like a shift, you know what I'm saying? For sure. But anyway, changes. Make sure you follow this podcast, y'all, because we be just real about everything. Nah, serious, man. We be real about everything. If y'all was just coming to hear some jokes and laugh, a bunch of people screaming about some non-real stuff, this is probably the wrong podcast for you. You know what I'm saying? But if you really want to talk about real stuff, real challenges, real changes in life, and you know what I mean, learn from each other, support each other, I'm not the only person out there. There's tons of people that work in federal that's either lost their job or had to change how they work and their lives have been impacted. We got a platform here where we talk about these things. You know what I mean? So if you've been through this situation, going through this situation, hit us up, leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? If you're somebody that's been working in federal government for 20 years and all of a sudden you got that call, you got to pack up your stuff, I'm sure that was impactful to you. You know what I'm saying? We need to hear about that. There's a lot of changes that's been going on. We ain't gonna get into the politics side of it, but we all know it's kind of crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? But changes could also be beautiful. They could be good. You know what I'm saying? And Randy had a change recently, but I don't really think it's a change. But for her, it's a change because she went and did some public speaking, which she doesn't usually sign up to do or like to do. But she's always been great at it. She just didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? But tell these guys about your change, which is, I would say, walking into your purpose of being a teacher.
Yeah.
And speaking to people about your passion and what you're great at.
I'm going full throttle.
All right, so what's up?
Pedal to the metal.
Help us out.
All right, so I did the speaking engagement at a real estate event. And first of all, I had it wrong because I thought it was a first-time home buyers event. So I prepared to speak on that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't first-time home buyers. It was about real estate. And so I had to pivot in real time. But praise the Lord that these are topics that I can talk about for hours. So I had planned to speak for 15 minutes and I had different topics to touch on. But I was asked to speak about taxes particular. So I was like, okay, I'm going to speak about taxes. But if you're a first-time home buyer, this is kind of the thought process. There's some things you need to know about before we actually start speaking about taxes. So I started composing, what I was going to talk about. And I was going to start off with like emergency fund, budgeting, then do the taxes, then how, like life insurance. And anyway, once I found out it wasn't first time home buyers, I did change it up a little bit, but I'm like, well, this is stuff that everybody needs to know. So instead of like, these are things that you need to know as a first time home buyer.
Yeah.
I just said, these are things that we all should be doing. But what I did was I kind of think of it as what I would want to hear in the audience. So instead of starting out with, hey, I'm Miranda and I'm an enrolled agent and accountant, like all that stuff, I started out with a story. And the audience was listening. Like I had their attention. I'm like, yes. And I wasn't afraid. So I was talking about this story about how we had just got home from vacation and we basically had an emergency in the house because water was falling from the ceiling. We had to bust the ceiling open because we thought it was a leak. It wasn't a leak. It just happened that my son had poured water down the vents. But my whole point was in that moment, we had to find $800. And I wanted to know, are y'all prepared for an emergency? So this could be for first-time home buyer or not, renter, whatever it is. Anyway, we're talking about that, being prepared for emergencies and budgeting and just financial things. I was in my comfort zone and I was just talking. And the audience was asking me questions. And it was just so natural for me. When I hit taxes, I kind of lost them, but that's okay.
That's with anybody.
Yeah. But the fact that my talk was supposed to be 15 minutes and it went to 38 minutes and it didn't feel like 38 minutes. Like I was just there just talking and answering questions.
Right.
I really want to go or be intentional about educating people on finances. And I think that is the missing piece to a lot of things, because even right now with the things that's going on with the administration and people losing their jobs, I'm like, man, this is stuff that I've known for years. And I have taught about stuff for years, but I haven't been I've been afraid.
Right.
But I'm like, man, imagine if somebody would have found me 3 years ago when I was talking about emergency fund. I know a lot of people, clients who've lost, wives have lost their jobs, family members have lost their jobs, friends have lost their jobs. What if somebody would have, I don't know people's financial situation.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it's not, but imagine if you lost your job and you had 6 months of savings. You're going to feel a little bit differently than the person that's living paycheck to paycheck.
True.
And this is stuff that I used to talk about all the time, but I didn't really know what to do with it, how to make money from it. But I know that I have a desire to help people with that. And now I can just see it from a different perspective because all of the stuff that's going on.
True.
So my change is I'm going to make a shift and I'm going to start talking about that stuff because I'm comfortable with it. I would do it for free. I won't do it for free. But I'm just saying, like, if there was something like, okay, you got to do something for the rest of your life.
Right.
And not make any money from it. But
That would be it.
That would be it. And then I think about even us being able to make these decisions. Well, why are we able to make it?
Mm-hmm.
We got savings.
Right.
We got investments. Like we have things in place that make it, even though it will be a shift, but we've done the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I want other people to be able to experience that peace.
True. But you just said it though, but with my decision, you was like, oh, I ran the numbers. A lot of people don't know how to run the numbers, like what you just did. Not a lot of people even know how to do that analysis, which is like, all right, well, what am I going to need to be able to sustain myself for this period of time? Like people
Right.
don't know how to do that. I make money. I don't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I need to put in place, what account structure, how much I should be putting away, this, and that. Doing the research and the analysis to make that kind of pivot or be prepared, that's not my expertise, but
Yeah.
that's what you do. Now, I will say, going back to what you said though, real quick, because I watched some of your presentation. Going into the story at first, that made you real. I want you to know, like, that made you real because a lot of times we lead with profession and you don't lead with being a person. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned that, I've had a podcast at my job or whatever, and I've learned that a lot of times when it comes to business or anything like that, we always feel like sharing our confidence, authority, or we always want to we want to establish ourselves as somebody you should listen to. You see what I'm saying? That's one thing we just do mentally without even thinking. Whenever we got to present to somebody, we kind of lead with like a background or experience and all this type of stuff because you like empower yourself, which is nothing wrong with that. So you want them to be like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. You should listen to me, which is what you could have did. Like, I'm an EA, da. But people don't need to connect with the professional first. They need to connect with the person. And that's the most challenging thing, is to let people connect with both when you talk to them. That's like a skill that gets developed over time. Like, you're going to connect with me, the person, and the professional. You're going to get both and not just an overload of one. You overload people with the professional connection and they'll disconnect from you. Because people don't like to necessarily connect with professionals.
Right.
They want to connect with people. You see what I'm saying? It's people that they can relate to. If they're somebody who don't, and that's where it got challenging with the taxes, because most people, as people, can't relate to taxes. So that's why that's a more challenging topic. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? But spending money, saving money, emergencies, things going wrong, having to pay for it, like people can relate to that easier. You see what I'm saying? It's a little bit not as complex. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you telling that story, and I think it was like within the first minute, people was like laughing a little bit, or like, you could tell that they was you had brought them in.
Right.
And they were there for you. They were there to receive everything else because you had brought them into this kind of safe, relatable place.
Yeah.
Now, you say that you're going to go forward and do this. I would say that you're one of those, and you might feel the same way about me, but you're definitely like a best kept secret. You know what I'm saying? Because after that experience you just had, and the way that I come in and you're doing your customer service calls or whatever to help people with taxes, you have to go do that all the time. And you just wrote your book, and we'll talk about that in a while, but you have to do this all the time. The worst thing you're going to do is have this one moment and then go back. You have to go do it. Like, I hate to say it, but I don't want to say every weekend, but you really should be at these seminars and these events all the time. You should be hitting the streets. You should be hitting the road and taking this thing that you're doing in your house, where people's giving you all these high ratings because you're so smart at what you do and you're so personal. You need to go take that publicly. And I know you got your advisor, so I don't want to tell you what to do. You talk to your advisor about it. But you need to take this thing and you need to push that mad hard. And you need to be at every popping woman financial seminar teaching people. Seriously. And when you go, taking your book with you. And that's going to scare you down. But that's how you're going to go to the next level. Because people's going to, over the next year, they're going to see you all over the place with your book propped up on the table talking about stuff. And that's going to take you to the next level because you got it. And I'm not just saying that because you're my wife and all that, but you got it. And it comes across different from you. So I
Okay.
encourage you to do that, and not just online, Instagram, like that's great too. But there's that I don't know if you had like 12 people or whatever in that thing, but I know that over time that's going to become 20, that's going to
Right.
become 30. And one day, trust me, we're going to be in an auditorium with hundreds of people done waiting to hear from you
Yeah.
and everything you know. Serious. That's what
It's
you got to
just
do.
I'm trying not to get emotional.
Nah, I'm
But
being real with
I
you.
know it's just one of those things that when I was younger, my mom used to tell me, she'd be like, and I don't know if y'all know her, but she'd be like, "You're the next Susie Orman."
Done.
And
You have to
like
do it.
from teen. And that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
for you to hear you say this, I'm like, was she
I'm telling you,
was
man.
is that what she's saying to me?
I'm telling you. I know it. I could feel it. All these look like the same way you see with me, and you're like, oh, I got your back, and I want you like I see it. I come in the room and I see you on these calls with people like that. That's like a secret. You're like got a secret gift, done.
You think
And
so?
yes,
But what would you identify that secret gift as?
you're very intelligent about finances, but you're also very real, and you know how to relate to people, done. And you're easy to talk to, and your customer service is like through the roof. So those things being combined is like this person knows what they talk about. They real and relatable, and they have amazing service. That's it. That's what you got. That's what you got. And yeah, and to be honest, let's go back. This whole thing that I'm telling you, and the reason why I know, because this is the whole reason I got with you in the first place. Because I didn't even know you like that. But you had this aura of like, I be handling my business as a single woman. Why you laughing? I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean,
I
yeah.
told you this. The first time we went on a date, I told you. That's what I saw about you. You passed that on to your child too. I remember we went out, you was drinking your house wine at the Fridays, getting all lit on some $7 wine or whatever it was, you
That
know what
I
I'm
didn't
saying?
like.
But I never forget. Look, I was on the 20 or whatever, but I never forget watching you come, and I think you picked me up in your truck or your car, whatever it was. You had on your lipstick and you was all done up or whatever, and you was just moving. And you took me out and we went out to eat, and you was just ordering, and everything about you just screamed confidence and independence, man. That's what you are. Serious. And it caught my eye. And I didn't even know you like that, but I knew that you didn't need nothing from me, man. That you didn't need nothing from nobody else, because you was the experience. Now, later on in life, we have a 20-year-old daughter. I see it in her. She's the experience. I see it. She's like a mini you. She comes across, she's got her own money, knows how to make her own money, has her own interest, drives her own car, and takes this show on the road mad confident. And you could smell it, done. And that's what you have. That's what, like sometimes you go over with a girl and you're like, she could look fine or whatever, but you're like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't that. It's not like confidence, independence. Like, I could just tell, like, there's something different about you. You didn't need nobody. You could tell that you've been rowing your own boat confidently for a while. That's what you are. You need to go teach people how to do that. You could be impactful. Man, I'm telling you, I'm not just trying to gas you, but you could be impactful to the young woman that's trying to make it out on her own, and the woman that's got a family too. You could do both because you did both. You are both. You are both. You are one situation away with me from getting right back to the way you used to be. Because you love me to death. I know that. But guess what? Let it go funky. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be the one calling me, be like, well, I can't make this happen. Can you please drop off the money that you owe for the kids? You're gonna just say F you and go make it happen. That's what you do. You don't want that, but that's what you could do. You need me, but you don't need me. And that's a great thing. You don't need me, done. You don't. You choose to be with me. Serious. That's what you're great at. But you don't need, you're not needing nobody. And I don't know if you got it from your sisters or whatever, but you would quickly turn into a pride of, I don't need you. I've seen you do it. I'm going to show you that I don't need nobody. I just need me. I can figure this out. A lot of women can't do that. A lot of men can't do that. Just like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm not even going to give you the liberty of knowing that I needed you to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. That's what you could do.
Okay. So let me explore this a little bit
Please
because
do.
I know right now, like when I look at like social media,
Mm-hmm.
men want to feel needed.
Okay.
So for you to say you don't need me, like how does that like I feel like I do need you from definitely from like an emotional standpoint, definitely as the father standpoint, like just like you're the pillar of the home. You know, and
I hear you.
I have spent time trying to
I hear you.
trying to be intentionally submissive.
No, but it's no, you're not getting it though. Cause I know that you love me, you need me. I know what I bring to your life. I'm not knocking all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that what people don't do and realize sometimes is that you could love like for you, I was a fan. I'm your biggest fan. So I love you, but I don't need you to need me like that because I'm a fan of yours. I'm your friend, but I'm also a fan. So I would look at you and I admire you. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think the same way, I think you look at me at certain things and you admire that. Certain things that I can do well. But I'm actually a fan. So that's how you caught my eye, not because you needed me or because you was doing anything for me. I was able to look at you as your own thing. So I'm a fan. That's what you got to remember about me. I'm actually a fan of yours. That's why I believe in you so much. Because I'm a fan. I watch what you do and I'm like, man, I don't need to dumb it down. It's all good. And I feel like a lot of times when you say people will be needed or whatever, a lot of people's marriages don't last forever, but that's because spouse is feeling something that you can't feel on your own, and then when it's too much going on, too much commingling of confidence. Your confidence is separate from me, so I don't need to hold you up for real because you already got it. So I can just enjoy it seriously, and I don't have to dumb you down to lift me up. I don't need that. Or I would have never got with you. I would have been like, you need to dumb it down a little bit and let me know what's going on. But I never did that because I'm actually a fan. I admire you. I wonder if people that are married or together, do you look at your woman or your husband and you really admire them independently, then? You know what I'm saying? Admire them. Be a fan of what they do. That way you can always love them for who they are, not for what they do for you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what caught my eye about you. You weren't doing nothing for me. I was just admire what you were. And that's what you are, man. And you got to look at all these things happen for reasons. So when you're on these calls and helping people through things and they give you these 5-star ratings or whatever, what does that mean? And what could you do with that? How would somebody receive you if you had that same conversation you're having with that one person that needs tax help with 50 people or 100 people or 200 people in the auditorium or 500 people online or 1,000? It does, yet still the same, still got the same skill, but now you scaled it bigger.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what you're missing. Got to go throw that thing out there. Trust me, then. Trust
Okay.
me.
Well, thank you. And I'm a fan of yours too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what I think you should do, man. And I think with all these things happening the same way you say something with me, you have an entry now. And I don't even know if you've seen it, but now you have an entry. And I'm going to pivot real quick. I'm sorry, did you want to talk more about your thing? Actually, no, but before I pivot on that, I do want to ask you one question. So, Randy was doing her presentation, or I don't know if you want to call it presentation, about, talking to women. Was it just women or was men there too?
It was men there too.
Oh, all right.
Mostly
Talking to
women though. Yeah.
women and men about finances and stuff like that. And you got a question about doing something for free. So, you know what I mean? We always got to think about marketing ourselves and what do we really want people to be known as. But one thing, and I will say it definitely in the African American or Black community, you know what I mean? Also, everybody, we always we get into these engagements where we're like, we're doing stuff for free. We're in these groups talking for free. And like, that seems to be very predominant in our race for whatever reason.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Even when we're successful, like when we want to network, it's got to be some type of free element or quote unquote hookup element. I don't know where that comes from. We're going to leave that aside. I don't want to offend nobody. But what happened to you and how did you respond? Because I thought it was beautiful. You know what I mean?
One of the women there asked me, I don't know. She said that every month her and some women get together and they talk about business and budgeting, and would I be open to coming and talking or helping for free, something like that. And I thought about it for a second because I wanted to say yes, but I knew that. I mean, I wanted to say yes because I was like, it would sound good, or it might be good for me to go and meet these people, like the opportunity. But then I had to be true to myself, and I was just like, no.
Yeah.
And I didn't just leave it at that.
No,
I
you didn't.
elaborated. I said, I don't do anything for free. And then I went even deeper. I said, I have a daughter in college. I have 2 children in private school, and my youngest son has special needs. My time is precious. I don't do anything for free. So. And I'm like, I mean, she's.
And her response was like,
She was like,
okay, that's great. That's great. You know, and you don't know what she was thinking outside of that.
But it's so true because I'm thinking about if I'm going to be up on a Saturday morning and I need to go somewhere and speak or assist or something, like, I really have to be paid to do it. Like, my time really is precious.
But check this. Nah, that's what's up. I agree with all
growth.
that. That is growth.
That's growth.
But guess what? Who are you and what do you identify yourself as? You know what I'm saying? And what do you really want to be and what do you really are already? Because is there any expertise, knowledge, experience that you have, abilities that you have that fall in the category of free? Period. Because there's a lot of people out there that you can't even get them to write their name on a piece of paper for you and then not cause something. They won't even show up and say, welcome to the event without it costing you something. There's people that will sit there and they going to charge you every minute that they even sit in this party with you. And they don't even perform. They're just there. That nothing is free. Yeah. They charge you just to appear in your building.
And
you know what I'm saying?
One thing that I've learned just from my coaching, you know, my coach and my advisor, from just a personal perspective and just from experience itself, people don't take free seriously. Like, you can waste your time being a free resource. If I want somebody, like, I have expertise, knowledge, years of experience, and I'm not faking for you. Like, I'm willing to be real. So to sit with me, if I'm giving you all this stuff for free, you're just not going to take it serious. Some might. But if you're like, okay, I'm going to pay or I'm going to invest in this resource that's going to help me get to where I need to be, I think that's where the real conversations start. Now, I don't mind. I'll give a little free little advice on, you know, on YouTube, Instagram. I'm cool with that. That's fine. But if you're serious, you got to put some money up.
Yeah. The thing about YouTube and Instagram also, which I agree, because sharing knowledge and not charging for it to some aspect can be okay. But you have to control that. You have to be in full control of that. So we're not meeting with people, going on platforms, giving all of everything and not being compensated for it.
Done that.
But if you want to take 30 seconds and make a clip for somebody, that's your decision. That's your judgment. And you can always see, the thing is, and we used to have this problem with consultations, is that when you put yourself in this open, like, firing range for people to just pull from you, where does the free or where does the, hey, I'll help you out really quickly stop versus, hey, you should be paying for this? The lines are blurred right away because you're not in control. And we used to have that with the free consultations. Like, I'm going to hop on the call for 30 minutes or an hour and just talk to you. Within 3 minutes, you're already giving something they should charge for. It happens real fast. And then how do you scale that? You know what I'm saying? So you can't do that. You got to be in control and say, hey, at most, I'll give you a little insight on something, post a little reel on social media, it's me helping somebody or whatever. Maybe you got a little bit something from it, but that's it. But actually taking something tangible for you to go do differently, like, nah, you gotta pay for that.
And we invest in other people. We invest in coaches and advisors. And that's how we've been able to accelerate our growth. I believe it's vital. Talking to people that's smarter than you or are more knowledgeable than you are in a specific area.
For real.
So, and that's why you take it serious. Put that money up.
Now we getting close with this. This been a good episode. It feels good to be back in here with you. You know what I mean? I'm glad we support each other the way we do. You know what I mean? And y'all that's listening, you can learn a lot from us because not only do we have expertise and things that we could share about finances, relationships, and just going through life and all the different components to it, family and all of that. We be learning from each other live on the podcast. You know what I mean? We be learning from you too. We don't always have all the answers. But in this community of talking through things and being real about it, about the good and the bad, you actually can get somewhere. Like I got somewhere. I got homework. I need to go talk to the Lord. I need to go figure out what is he trying to plan for my life right now. I need to stop trying to control it all on my end because that's probably why it ain't hitting the way it needs to hit. So this environment is creating things for me to be better. And the only reason that's happening is because we just being real on here. We out here just entertaining and all that. Sometimes entertainment can keep you distracted and can keep you stagnant. So sit there and want to laugh all the time. There's nothing wrong with having fun. We have fun on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? It's not all serious all the time. But sometimes you could be entertained all the way and not be elevating at all because you're sitting there the whole time just being entertained. That ain't it. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be a mix of stuff. We can entertain ourselves as we're elevating, as we're learning, as we're growing. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want to do for y'all. You know what I mean? So we hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. But we running out of time, but I do want to get a real quick update. We always going to plug this because last time we was on here, Randy had a deadline for a while with this book. And, you know, we only got a minute or two, but I'm excited for you. You know what I mean? The book is been written. Is that fair to say? The book is written. The book is complete.
Yeah.
We gotta clap it up to that, man. I feel like I'm in a book club right now, you know what I'm saying? But off the top of your head, do you remember we ended up changing the name, but do you remember what the name is that we came to? Because I was trying to remember. I'm like, oh gosh, I can't remember. But it's done.
Finance Handbook for Young Learners.
Finance Handbook for Young Learners and A to Z Guide. Say that again.
Finance Handbook for Young Learners, A to Z Guide.
And what's it say at the bottom?
Miranda Basden, EA.
Make sure you guys go and grab this book, y'all. All right. This is what I like to call a work of art. And this is just the beginning of things. But Randy, I'm gonna take a small bit of the credit, but Randy deserves all of it because we're writing a book and we about to change generations by getting our young learners, you know what I'm saying, introduced to finances in a way that they can relate to, they can remember. It's for all different, it's all races, you know what I mean? Everybody can benefit from it, Black, white, Spanish, whatever the case may be. We ain't got it written in Spanish though, so you might have to translate. But anyway, this is the thing, because not only does she have a gift with finances, but when you have a gift, you should give something to other people with it. You know what I mean? And she has a gift. So now we're taking that gift and looking to make the most impact. And finances is not just about adults. That's the mistake we make. You know what I'm saying? We think that we don't need to learn how to manage our money or what we should be thinking about with our money until we actually start making a lot of money. But that's not true. Why not be prepared already? You know what I'm saying? Why not grow up with an understanding of finances and what you should be thinking about when you actually get to that point in your life and you start having money? You be prepared already. A lot of us wasn't prepared. We wanted a job. We wanted to get some money, but we wasn't prepared to how to live life with this money because we didn't start really thinking about finances until a later age. But we about to change that with this book, right?
I need everybody thinking about finances.
Yeah. So tell them, you know what I mean, real quick before we close out, why should they grab this book? Because we're going to be pushing this over and over again. But why should they grab this book from you?
Well, it's important because it's a lot of financial terms that I wish that I knew as a young person. I mean, I think it's actually important for people that's adults too, because even though it's directed towards young learners, it has a very rich content and it makes you aware. Like you hear the terms assets, you hear budgeting, you hear venture capital, like you hear these things, but do you actually know what they mean and why they're helpful. And do you have examples of them? So, yeah.
Love it. Love it. Listen, yo, make sure you grab this book. And the beautiful thing of it, I'm going to close with this.
Well, let me just say, grab it when it comes out. It's not available yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna let them know. It's coming out. It's coming out in a couple of weeks. We're going to let them know.
Yeah.
We're going to let them know when it drops, for sure. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, you tell them to grab the book. It's nothing there yet.
Well, by the time this episode drops, it might be there, right?
Well,
maybe.
You can't give them the plug to grab it because there's nothing there yet.
True. All right, listen, yo. When it drops real soon, we'll be letting you know on the podcast episode the day that it dropped and where we give you the information on where to go on Amazon and all that. But it's gonna be, I would say, in a couple of weeks. It should be, unless we get some unexpected production problems.
Right.
Our part is done, and now it's being produced. We're gonna go with some hardback at some point, right? We're gonna go digital. You know what I mean? It's going to be out there for y'all. You know what I'm saying?
And y'all can, I'm thankful for the listeners because you are with us through the process.
Yes.
We're figuring this out.
Yes.
And we have help figuring it out too. So,
community, working with people who's did it before.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And humbling ourselves to be like, hey, we have this idea. We wrote a book, but how do we get it out there? How do we market it? We haven't did it before, but we humble ourselves and work with other people that's written books and published them. And you know what I mean? It makes the process a little bit easier. And that's why you need to follow our podcast, y'all, because if you're sitting here going through life, trying to figure out the ups and downs of your finances, the ups and downs of your relationships, your friendships, you know what I mean? We do a lot of things together. We do a lot. We in businesses together. We coach a team, youngsters, young men. You know what I mean? We got a podcast together. It's so much stuff. We got kids. We got relationship. We got so many things that we did together. You can learn from us and not have to go through things on yourself because you're part of this community where people are sharing and making it easier for each other to navigate life, because life is beautiful, but life is also challenging and it has lots of changes and ups and downs. And the Dex and Randi Show is the #1 show for going through the ups and downs of life. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you follow the Dex and Randi Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can find us on YouTube, anywhere that you listen to your podcast. Just look up the Dex and Randi Show, follow us, leave a review on the podcast, you know what I mean? Grab Randy's book when it drops, you know what I mean? Can't grab it yet, but grab it when it drops, you know what I mean? And make sure, of course, for all your business needs, personal financial needs, that you reach out to our sponsors, Basden Accounting LLC, and they'll make sure to take care of y'all. All right? Till next time, peace. Make sure you follow the Dex and Randi Show on all platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on YouTube. Let us know what you're going through. This is the #1 show for going through the ups and downs of life. We want to hear from you, engage with you. Till next time, peace.